This is Stars and Scopes with your friend Uma, updated every new and full moon with guidance based on planetary transits in the current sky and extra support from tarot. For accuracy, take a look at your rising sign first if you know it, and do feel free to listen to your sun, moon and rising if you'd like the full picture. I've had a bit of a snafu with the audio this week, so congratulations, you can treat yourself to this DJ set as well as your horoscope. All music that I'm using I found over at the freemusicarchive.org, so do check them out if you're looking for some high quality Creative Commons licensed music. Tips are always welcome at buymeacoffee.com/Uma Ruby, but other than that, let's get into it. Hello Virgo and Virgo rising, welcome to your horoscope for the full moon in Capricorn happening on July the 14th. If you're in the southern hemisphere with me at 4:37 a.m. So if you're in the northern hemisphere, then it will be July the 13th. Welcome to your reading. This Capricorn full moon is laden with so much potency that I'm going to take a little bit of time explaining the astrology, but hopefully not too much that it's just jargon. We're going to get into it. The full moon is happening in Capricorn at 21 degrees, and it's in a conjunction with the planet Pluto. Now, Pluto's been in Capricorn since 2008, I believe, and it's made a very slow journey through that sign, and with it, it has brought the essence of the mythology that is attached to Pluto. The Romans named the planet Pluto when they were formalizing the zodiac based off the Greek mythology. So Pluto in Greek is Hades. That is the god of the underworld, the benevolent sort of figurehead of death and rebirth. When Pluto makes a transit in the zodiac, it's felt by everybody. There is a sense of burning to the ground, and then a sense of germination and a reseeding underneath that destruction. So in Capricorn, there has been many deaths and rebirths that have happened in the house that affects your sign. So for Virgo, the Capricorn rules your 5th house, which is the house of your inner child, of your creative potential, of your passion and your ego in the most beautiful sense of the world, your vitality, where the sun is happiest, where your sense of self can really shine and connect with other people. There's a lot of sex energy that happens in the 5th house. There's a lot of, as I said, creativity. There's a lot of expression, I think is probably the best word to use for 5th house stuff. So think about your life from 2008 to now, and what reimaginings, what rebirths, what endings and beginnings have you experienced in that part of your life? Because the transit of Pluto is undeniable for those that have a Capricorn sun placement. I'm speaking from personal experience. The transit brought about a complete dissolution of identity, and that can be really destabilizing. So if you've got planets in Capricorn, there may have been certain parts of your life specific to those planetary aspects that were turned on their head, that were reshuffled and spat out again to a new form. We let go of things at a full moon anyway. We are encouraged to express that doesn't serve us anymore, and to let it back to the moon for her to take care of, and then for us to settle and feel that release of what we have let go of. It can be sometimes a celebration in that term. So if there's been great expression that you've been experiencing, then the full moon in Capricorn is a perfect time to celebrate that achievement, to really work with it and go with it and set it out and let it go and push it forward. If there's been disappointments in that area, again, it's the perfect time to release yourself of that feeling. Fifth house stuff can have we can be detached from our inner child sometimes. Oftentimes, that's part of life. The fifth house is the reminder to reacquaint ourselves with that part of our experience. Who were you when you were an infant, when you were a little kid? Who was that soul? And how can we get ourselves back to that space, get ourselves back to that garden? That would be a great exercise for you at this full moon, is to really ask those questions and to call in what you need creatively, what you need in your sex relationships, what you need in your self-expression, what is lacking at the moment that is causing you distress or discomfort or regret, and how can you let go of that regret, and how can you use the Plutonian energy to really reimagine yourself. That's the key here. This full moon doesn't happen, I don't know when it will happen again. I'll have to do the maths on that, but it's a big one. For the full moon to be in conjunction with Pluto does not happen all the time. And that sense of urgency, that sense of setting a match to things and letting it burn and letting the undergrowth swell up is really pertinent here at this full moon. The tarot card that describes the 21 degrees in Cap is the Four of Pentacles. This card talks all about control. This card talks all about hanging on to what it is that we thought we knew, or what it is that we have, with a vice-like grip and not letting it go. And at this new moon, at this full moon, I'm really sure that you're encouraged to loosen that grip. The sun is at 21 degrees in Cancer, and the card for that is the Four of Cups, which is a space of meditation. It's a space of not taking on more emotional labor as well. I'll highlight that you're not asked to take a bite of more than you can chew. You're not asked to let more in. Your boundaries are really important at this time, because this is a really pivotal moment of some profound changes. So how can you maintain your boundaries? How can you center yourself, find that meditative space within you, whilst you are letting go some of the control or disappointment or anguish around your inner child? That's the astrology. There's also a T-square, as there has been for damn near every lunation this half of the year, but that's okay. This time it's with an asteroid rather than a planet. And I need to describe the asteroid to you because some don't know about it. The asteroid is called Chiron, and it was discovered in 1977. And it was, in the tradition of astrology, blessed a name from the pantheon, blessed a name from the mythology of existence. And since its discovery, every astrologer worth their salt it's been undeniable, Chiron's power. So they always include it in a reading in some way. It's a really great marker point to recognize the journey of the soul that's being read. And the mythology behind Chiron is that he was a centaur. So the centaur race was half man, half horse, and they were all kind of boozy and degenerative, and they were kind of animalistic in a lot of ways. They just sort of lived for pleasure. Chiron was part of the god family. Chiron was descendant of, I think, Zeus, I can't be sure, but Chiron's parents were gods, and so they imbued their life with discovery and with adventure and with learning and teaching. So they became a sage, they became a herbalist. They would draw in from the earth all of the different elements and could heal other people where they were sick. Chiron was hit by a poison arrow, and quite violently, It was a mortal wound that they suffered. However, because of their immortality, they couldn't die, and so they lived a lot of their remaining years in agony, and they prayed to the gods to set them free. Eventually they did, and that's when this sign Sagittarius was installed in the cosmos. That constellation, that spattering of stars, was put into the heavens in memory of Chiron. So that's the macro. To bring it down into the micro experience and how we sort of relate this astrologically speaking, Chiron represents our most inner wound. It's where we are so hurt that we cannot heal ourselves. It's a wound that we recognize in other people, and so we can see it in others. We can help them with their problems, and we can do everything that we can to soothe them. For us, it's a different story. We can't heal ourselves here. However, that's not to say that we can't be helped by other people's influence. So to have that square, to have that pressure point with the moon and the sun, with Chiron, is really highlighting a deeper wounding, a deeper part of our experience that is difficult to heal. For Virgos, Chiron in Aries right now is in the 8th house, which is interesting. That house is all about soul contracts and death and rebirth, and the way that our soul has a contract with others. So thinking about the 8th house, thinking about all of that stuff, thinking about a wounding that has happened there, what can be let go of from the past for you, Virgo? What can be let go of in terms of grief? Probably is the best word for it. How can you use this energy to fuel your release when it comes to your creativity? What is lingering in the 8th house for you that has some substance there and has some potential to aid this release and maybe this creative output, maybe this creative flow will come from that. So that's the astrology. I'm going to pull you some intuitive tarot, and hopefully we'll get a message from Spirit for the right here, right now. Spirit, how can we help Virgo with with the Magician first up? How can we help Virgo on their quest to rediscover their inner child, to let go of the pain from before and to drop into the enjoyment of the physical body, of the ego? How can they find pride? The 3 of Cups, the 9 of Swords. This is wild, and I'll tell you why. These cards have come out more than once in my readings today, and I feel it. I feel it. I think Pluto in Capricorn is bigger than you think. I think Pluto in Capricorn has really affected all of us. It doesn't have to be your sun sign, but this stage of life that we're going through is racked with anxiety, and it's racked with questions and worry about what direction to take and where are we supposed to go and how are we supposed to carry on with everything that's going on around us, and with the horrors of life and the news cycle and all of that kind of stuff. It really does separate us from our inner child, from our creativity. Those impulses almost seem they almost seem petty in some ways, or unimportant. But I think Spirit's telling us that they're vitally important. Because when you realize how much magic you have and how much ownership and control you have over your experience, and how you can work with the moon, and you can ask her for things, and you can tell her your secrets, and you can let go what it is that you need to let go of, then you'll find that reconciliation. You'll find that clearing, that space, that nourishes us and nurtures us. There's so much creative potential for you, Virgo. There's so much in that space for you. You're probably really good with kids, I imagine. It's a life's work. If you think about Capricorn ruling your 5th house, think about that. There's a service there. There's an active service when it comes to reminding other people about their joy. And maybe there's a wounding there for you that sometimes it's difficult for you to find your own. But at this full moon, I want you to let go of the binds that hold us back. And there's the sand. I've been rabbiting on. Okay, Virgo, that's your reading for the full moon in Capricorn. Well done. Full moon blessings. You can head over to umaruby.com if you'd like to book a private reading with me. I can read your birth chart and tell you anything that you might like to know or ponder on. Or you can head to buymeacoffee.com/umaruby and you can tip this waitress for all of her trouble. Until I speak to you in 2 weeks for the new moon in Leo, I'm sending you all of my love and full moon blessings, and take your clothes off, get naked, get underneath it, ritualize, be a witch, come back to that space, and we'll let go together. Pluto is huge energy and it's difficult to work with if you're unaware of it. So you're aware of it now, work with it. Bye.